Welcome in, fun seekers. It is a Thursday, April the 27th, 1989. 7½ minutes after the hour of 3 o'clock. Today is going to be what I sometimes refer to, at least in-house anyway, as one of those quick start shows. There is no monologue. There really isn't even any comment on my part as to what I want to talk about today. I dangled it before you yesterday. No one mentioned it. That's okay. I'm not that easily insulted. It was a minor news item that ran yesterday that just caught me flat-footed. At first, it made me laugh. Then it kind of made me sad because apparently there are an awful lot of young people in this country without any sense of history whatsoever. But what it is that a group of young Republicans somewhere, and I have to be honest with you, I didn't catch exactly where they're coming from, which is a tragedy, because we would like to talk to these people in person. But a group of young Republicans are trying to get Ronald Reagan's likeness chiseled in, added onto, call it whatever you want, Mount Rushmore. So that it would be George and Tom and Abe and Teddy and Ronnie. Now, on the surface, that is very funny. I mean, it is incredibly funny until you really stop to think about these poor misguided youth are serious. They don't quite understand the difference between, apparently, George Washington and Ronald Reagan, or between Abraham Lincoln and Ronald Reagan, or between Thomas Jefferson and Ronald Reagan, and I'm not really sure what in the hell Teddy's doing there. I guess there were another group of young Republicans back then who somehow also managed to get Teddy up there with the other three, but that's neither here nor there. There are some of you, I suppose, who would be eligible to speak on Teddy Roosevelt from first-hand knowledge. Hi, Jim. How you doing? I thought you were retired. That's incredible. You're back again. And so, therefore, I'm just simply going to ask you today, partially tongue-in-cheek, partially with tears in my eyes, whether or not... Well, okay, let me be a little bit more honest with you. Yesterday, during the course of one of the calls while I was doing my show from Frank's living room, there was a little bit of that old spark, a little bit of that old Ronald Reagan bashing, and I will be honest with you, it made my heart flutter. It gave me palpitations. Oh God, it was just almost like the good old days, and that's part of it too. And I just will ask. As a matter of fact, I'll even keep score for whatever the hell that's worth. I don't know why I'm going to keep score, but I will keep score as to whether or not our beloved former leader, Ronald Wilson Reagan. Oh, God, it just feels so good to say those words. I haven't said them for so long. Our beloved former leader, Ronald, of course, it even sounds even better saying former leader, Ronald Wilson Reagan, whether or not his face, well, a character, a likeness, belongs on Mount Rushmore with the other guys up there, who are George and Teddy and Abe and the other one, Tom. So let me give you the telephone numbers, 990-9352 in Hillsborough. You will want to rush to your telephone for this one. Of course, we will probably ask you why he either does or does not belong there. 990-WFLA in Hillsborough, 461-WFLA in Pinellas, or another way, 461-9352 for Pinellas, 990-9352 for Hillsborough. And there is the practical joke line, perhaps very appropriate for today. And that number is 1-223-9797, 1-223-9797. Remember, if you reside in Pinellas County, that number rings directly at Dave Maseko. That's the general manager. It rings directly in his office. And a lot of people call that number to ask him to fire me. So if you want to, 1-223-9797.
I'd like to say that I'm against putting Reagan's face on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, why is that?
I don't believe he went out and put in the INF treaty with Russia.
Uh-huh.
And he's also tried doing some stuff with tax reform. And I don't believe that until we actually see the long-term effects of this, we ought to...
Wait a second. You are opposed to reducing weapons?
I'm opposed to leaving America defenseless.
Well, that doesn't exactly leave America defenseless because those weapons couldn't reach America anyway.
They were in Europe.
Well, exactly. In Europe, it's Europe. It's not America.
First line of defense, but I don't believe that's the topic. And I just, I'm against it for right now.
For right now?
Yeah.
You mean you might be in favor of it a little bit later on?
Well, I mean, Mount Rushmore's kind of a sacred shrine. Maybe put his face on Pikes Peak or something.
On Pikes Peak.
Yeah, someplace that's not... It does not have people like George Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these were great men.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Reagan just doesn't seem to be quite the... doesn't seem to have quite the greatness.
Well, you know, Teddy Roosevelt surely wasn't soft on the enemy, that's for sure. And either was Abe Lincoln.
But I just, feel that right now at this point we ought to do it.
Okay. Well, I thank you very much.
Okay. Nice talking to you, Bob.
Take care. That's two people opposed to it. Clear, water clear. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello.
Oh, yes.
Is it all right for me to tell you? I just can't stand that Bob Lassiter. As soon as I hear his voice, I want to turn it off.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm really serious.
Well,
I don't like him at all.
Minutes.
What?
He's been on for 15 minutes.
Oh, I mean other days.
Oh.
I mean so many days when I wish I had somebody to listen to when he's on. I just don't like the man. I listened to a part of Joe Flores, and I liked him very much. And I like Al Gardner. And Lionel, well, he just barely passes. But that Bob Lassiter, his voice and the things, he's outrageous.
The minute
Lionel.
You mean the minute you hear his voice, you start to cringe?
Yes.
I mean, the minute you hear his voice, you get goosebumps?
I hate him.
You hate him? Your stomach starts to turn.
Yeah, it does. I just don't like
you would
the
know
man.
his.
I
You
don't
would
want
know.
to listen to him.
You would know his voice anywhere.
Well, you sound like him.
I do.
Yes.
Some people have told me that.
You're probably him, huh?
Yeah, I am.
I just don't like you, Bob. I don't like. You're so harsh with the people. I just don't like you. Sorry.
Ooh, sorry. Oh, chicken. Well, we'll wait for her to get back to her radio. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. Okay, she should be back to her radio just about now. Chicken. Oh, but you have goosebumps now, don't you, you old bag? Yeah, you were talking to me. And on top of that, you're a liar. 17 minutes you sat there listening to me, lady. 17 minutes. Oh, that Bob Lassiter, I know, I can't stand the sound of his voice. You were talking to me. You're so damn dense, you didn't even know it. Unbelievable. Unreal. Who the hell helped you with your shoes in the morning? Surely you can't put them on by yourself. Darn, we forgot to ask her if she wanted Reagan's picture on Mount Rushmore. Tampa, you're on there at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
You might know I'd get on after she made you mad. You still there, Bob?
Yeah, I'll be here until 6.
Good, Bob. Hey, listen, I think we ought to put Reagan's face on Mount Rushmore right next to Richard Nixon.
I'm really not in the mood for comedy. That's not what I was asking for.
Well, I don't think it's funny, Bob.
Well, either, you're in favor of it or you're not in favor of it.
I am.
Well, Nixon's likeness isn't there and no one has suggested it.
Oh, well. I thought we can make a change anyway. Take someone else off.
Okay, thank you ever so much. I'll put you down in that column. Dunedin, you're on there at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Hi.
I think we should definitely not have Ronald Reagan's face on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, why is that?
I think we should hang our heads in shame that he was even elected for 8 years. He hasn't done anything but destroy this country, as far as I'm concerned. But, of course, our nation is made up of people just like that woman who didn't even know she was talking to you for however long you said it was. And that's exactly why he was elected. A bunch of morons have elected him. And we should even erase his name from the books as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, I'm a little harsh, but that's all right with me. I'm easy to get along with.
I'm not wishy-washy, Bob.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Maybe the wishy-washy. No, couldn't possibly be. Well, so far, this is just absolutely incredible. Why is it that it always takes so long to get this audience up and running in the 3 o'clock hour? It has just become a tradition here. But so far, I am really amazed. And I'll bet many of you sitting at home are, too, that only 3 people have said no, and no one has said yes. There were several people that we chatted with whose votes we just didn't take. But can you imagine forgetting our beloved leader, Ronald Wilson Reagan, so soon after he left office? Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, I say we don't put his head up there.
Why is that?
It'd take too long.
What's
Can you
that
imagine
mean?
etching every little wrinkle in his face? On a mountain?
Do you have a real legitimate reason for not putting up there? Like I said, when you guys try to be funny, it just doesn't work out,
I thought it was funny.
Well, I know you thought it was funny. You see, that's the problem. You guys don't quite understand what comedy is.
You're losing your sense of humor, Bob.
No, I'm not losing my sense of humor. I'm reacting to something that is real. There are a group of people that want to do this. And if you can't react to it, if that's the best you can do is because there are too many wrinkles, then, yeah. Don't need it, man. I just don't need it.
Okay,
there's somebody else here on the station.
Point.
There's somebody else here on the station who likes amateur comedy. I am not the one. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, I think y'all should put him on there. I think Reagan's face should be right up there on Mount Rushmore.
Why is that, sir?
I think he was a good president. Hell, he was one of the most popular presidents we've had.
Uh-huh.
I know a lot of people disagree with that.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt was very popular, too, sir. Would you like to put his face up there?
Yeah, put him up there. That doesn't bother me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I think he should go right up there along with Richard Nixon, about the guy that called him before.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
So, in other words, sir, you really don't have an opinion one way or the other. You two are trying to be funny.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're not funny, sir. But I would imagine most of the guys at the bar say that anyway. Okay, so it still remains 0-3. That is the score, and we are just astonished that the Ronald Reagan lovers. This is not a joke. This is for real. There are some people that want to do this, and these people supposedly have a reasonable degree of, respectability and credentials. The young Republicans, and this is as good as it gets. This is what I'm sticking with this afternoon. We're going to make you people either say yes or no, and, if you're going to try to be funny, it ain't going to work. I'm going to do everything in my power to embarrass you, because I'm not looking for your pathetic attempts at humor. And if you like to be embarrassed, on the air in front of other people, then you can try like the other people did to be funny, and it's up to you. But 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. I frankly don't care one way or the other. I'm going to stick with it till 6 o'clock.
Mayday, Mayday. Hi, everybody.
3 o'clock, the phones, the old Phenonortner's really cooking right now. This is about what seems to be happening every afternoon. They must think, the only thing I can think of is they must think that Paul Harvey is on till 3:21. And they tune in at 3:21 and, think, hey, there's Lassiter just starting the show. Well, it's strange he isn't telling us what it's about. What else could you possibly think of? The only thing I can think of, Michael, is that tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, instead of meeting as we have been meeting, you should all join me down at the Grand Prix Car Wash. We're going to run you people through the Grand Prix Car Wash, not your cars, just you, so that, you can get that water sprayed in your face. You won't have to stick around till 3:21. We'll get you up and running immediately. Some of you, of course, could also use the wax that we can put on at 700 pounds per square inch. The undercarriage wash wouldn't hurt some of you either, and nor would the free scent. So we will all meet tomorrow at 3 at the Grand Prix Car Wash, okay? So that we can run you people through there, get you awake before we come to the 3:20 break. We can get, just get going immediately with you. Also, by the way, if you stop by the Grand Prix this week, you can get 25% off any package wash and get a coupon for 25% off your next package wash at the Grand Prix. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, Lassiter, that sounds like a great idea, but I'm not really clear on where the Grand Prix is located. Well, no problem. 3 locations to serve you. 1880 Gulf to Bay Boulevard, right across from the Clearwater High School in Clearwater. A lot of people in the Clearwater area need to be run for the Grand Prix. In Seminole, 10471 Park Boulevard, almost everybody in Seminole needs to go through the Grand Prix. And in South Tampa, 3622 Gandy Boulevard, you'll find that about a half a block east of the crosstown. To the phones we go. This should be exciting. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello.
Listen, I don't know where these liberal jerks get off calling up there and making fun, saying they're Republicans when they're not. I was just browsing through the radio, and I happened to hear you...
Just browsing through the radio,
right? I mean, like turning it, turning the thing. And I'd say to put President Reagan up there.
Did you hear the guy yesterday that was saying that Ronald Reagan was the biggest jerk ever?
No, I didn't listen to you yesterday. I was listening to somebody else. I was listening to the other station. I'll tell you, they make me sick when they say that.
What,
he
the
was
other
the
station?
best president that America has ever had.
Well, why don't you tell some of the people listening this afternoon some of the great things that he did for us?
He did a lot for us. He did a lot.
Tell them some of them.
Even his wife, the lovely Nancy Reagan.
Well, why don't you tell the people what some of the things that Ronald and Nancy Reagan did for the country?
Well, they fought the drugs. They got on the drugs. Yes, they surely did. They got on the wax. Yes, they did.
You are, of course, aware of the fact that drug usage is far higher today than it was in 1980.
That's because Ronald Reagan is no longer president.
Oh.
And it just makes me mad. They should build a big, huge monument for him.
Gosh, like the old days.
I think he was the best.
You are, of course, aware of the fact that the drug usage was on a steady... You know, if you were to draw a line, it would be on a steady incline from 1980 through 1988, not just starting in 1989.
Yeah, well, you didn't hear all this about it, like when he was president, Bob.
You didn't hear all about... Well, do you remember that Ronald Reagan actually put in a drug task force? That's because there was a lot of drug usage.
Yeah, there was.
And it didn't stop. Well, that's, let's not... what are some of the other great things that Ronald and Nancy Reagan did?
Well, he did a lot. He did a lot for the country. He did a lot.
For example, tell some of the people listening what he did.
Well, I'd have to go home and read it all off, and I haven't got it here with me. I know he did a lot.
After 8 years, you can't remember anything?
I wish he was still president.
Are you related to Ronald Reagan?
No, I'm not.
Oh, because you seem to be the only other person I'm aware of that after 8 years can remember nothing about the Ronald Reagan presidency.
Yeah, I tell you.
He can't remember anything about it either.
You can't? Well, you weren't a Ronald Reagan supporter.
No, I said he can't remember much about it either.
Well, I'll tell you, he was the best president. He'll go down in history.
Well.
And all those liberals out there calling in and telling you like that they're Republicans, they're lying to you.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that you are a true Republican.
I am.
I know, no doubt about it in my mind.
I am a true Republican.
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of anything else besides fighting the drugs that Ronald Reagan did while he was in office?
Well, he did a lot. There's a lot of stuff he did.
Well, can you think of anything?
Oh, God almighty. I've got it all written down. Now you've got me on here, and I can't... It's hard to remember all this stuff because you put people on guard.
So many. Yes, I put them on guard, right? There were so many things that he did. How about when he put that nasty dictator in India in his place? How about that?
Hmm?
Did you like that? Is that one of the good things that he did?
Well, whatever the president did, I was 100% behind him.
Then you were in favor of when he put that nasty dictator in India in his place.
Well, I was whatever the president of the United States did.
When they bombed Bombay?
Well...
Were you supporting him in that?
Yes, I did. I supported him in whatever he did. Mm-hmm. That's why we voted for him twice.
Twice?
Yes.
Oh, God.
And next time it'll be Dan Quayle, we hope.
Next time. Well, actually, George Bush is delegate next time.
Yeah, but he might not.
You don't like George Bush?
No, I like Dan Quayle better. George Bush is boring.
George Bush is boring?
Mm-hmm. He's not as conservative as Ronald Reagan.
Not as conservative as Ronald Reagan. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, of course, come to think of it, that's really strange you should mention that because, you see, Ronald Reagan chose George Bush as his vice president. Of course, everybody knows, about Bushy being a little wishy-washy there. And it was George Bush who chose a good, staunch conservative. I guess that would really mean that we must be wrong about both men. It must have been Reagan who was the closet liberal, and Bush who was really the conservative.
No, definitely not. Anyway, I got to go listen to Dan Price.
Oh.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Let's go to Spring Hill. Hi, Spring. God, just like the old days. You're on the air at 9-7. Michael, 15 stars on that one? Okay. That's out of a possible 5. Spring Hill, you're on there at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Spring.
I really don't think he should be up there on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, why not?
Well, I don't think history has finally judged him. I don't think he's had enough time has gone by for him to actually be immortalized in stone.
Well, how about if we just kind of, work out something in clay on a garbage landfill someplace for the time being,
Well, that wouldn't be too bad. And as for that other lady, I can think of lots of things he's done. And deficit, and I don't know, just a lot of things that he's done that aren't really great.
Okay, what else besides the deficit?
That he's done? Well, he's cut education.
How did...
Educational grants if you either have to be real poor or real rich.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, he did that with the help of Congress.
Yeah, he did do that with the help of Congress.
Right, it was Congress that actually did it. Reagan suggested it.
Yeah, but I don't know, and if she really wants him up there,
Can you think of any other terrible things that he did?
terrible things that he did? Not really. He's kind of a, I don't know, not the kind of president that was really active. He talked a lot and did a lot political, but, you know, when it really came right down to it, to judging what he's done, for either good or ill, he didn't really do much.
Okay, I thank you very much, Spring Hill.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, I bet he's got some notes at home, too, that he could, if he had time to look up. St. Petersburg, St. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
First-time caller.
Great.
I don't know where I get the courage, but I have to say this. No. No. 100 times no. He has done nothing to deserve to be remembered. Absolutely nothing. He's been doing nothing but dragging his country down, giving it a bad name. And I don't know why you listen to all these fools who don't know what they're talking about. So that's about all I've got to say. I could say a whole lot more, but it wouldn't amount to a hell of beans. And I don't want him to be up there. If you just think of him sitting there now, grinning, and here is all he knows, and he is supposed to get the punishment. And Mr. Reagan sits there and laughs. And that's what really gets my gander up. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Thank you very much.
You.
Take care.
Whoopee, 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 whoopee. It's just like the old times.
Tain't over yet. 15 shares, here we come. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Hi, Tamp.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't think Reagan should be Rushmore among the other good presidents.
Why not?
I don't think he earned the right to be there. What did he do? That poor lady couldn't think of one thing that he'd done for this country, and I can't either. And I wonder how much money he has stashed away down in the Cayman Islands.
Cayman Islands?
Uh-huh.
Why do you think he's got bank accounts in the Caymans?
Well, I think he has some down there.
Well, I don't know.
That he's skimmed off of the...
I can't ever remember him going to the Cayman Islands, but I can remember several times when he passed through Switzerland.
Yeah, well,
That's
this came from Switzerland.
Came from
a roundabout way, but I think it ended up in the Cayman Islands.
Uh-huh.
He's just waiting to get his fingers on it.
Well, he's pretty old. How long do you think he's going to wait?
Well, maybe another year.
Well, at his age, that's really pushing it, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
God, this is great. This is great. Two lines available. Actually, one line available. It's coming in now in Hillsborough, 990-9352. 990-WFLA. Okay, let's go to Pinellas Park. Hi, Pinellas. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
My vote is no.
No. Why is that, sir?
None of your business.
Okay. Oh, just like the old days. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 46. Michael, do you think that possibly... has anything strange happened to you today, Michael? I mean, is it possible that we've gone through a time warp or something? And, you know, we've gone back 3 years? Oh!
Is this like Back to the Future?
Whoa!
Is this Back to the Future of talk radio?
I mean, if this keeps up for a month, we're gonna blow the queue out of the water! And they can't deal with this!
My lines are ringing. I gotta go.
Okay. Dunedin. Hi, Dun. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello.
Hi.
First time caller.
Fantastic.
No way.
No way. Why is that?
Listen, that woman, she got my gander up.
Uh-huh.
I wonder how long she's living in this country. And I said she knows the different presidents, and she read our history.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, she doesn't know what she's talking about. This guy should go back to acting.
He should go back to acting. Well, he is out of office.
Well, I'm just saying, he just, no way. Don't put him on Mount Rushmore, boy.
It's okay.
When I go, I'll turn to my grave,
Okay, so that's no for Rushmore.
No way.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me.
My pleasure, indeed. My pleasure, madam. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in the other place. Let's go to the Howard Franklin. I assume that's the Howard Franklin Bridge. Hi there, Franklin.
That's me.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely no on the Rushmore idea.
No on putting Reagan on Rushmore. Why is that, sir?
Because I can't think of anything good he did for us.
Can you think of anything bad he did for us?
I can't think of anything he did, period. I just don't think he put in a good 8 years, and I don't know for what. I don't know what good came out of it either way.
Okay. Well.
And I got one. I am a first-time caller to your show, Bob.
Well, thank you.
And I just got one. I listen to WFLA all day long. Mm-hmm. I try to get in when I can. Mm-hmm. And I got hung up out here on the bridge the other day trying to get a hold of you and didn't get through at all. But anyway, you are absolutely amaze me as to how you drag some of these people out of the woodwork.
You know what amazes me, too? Do you realize...
You get some callers and there's just...
If there was any way I could bottle this and sell it, if there was any way I could teach other people how to do it, sir, I would be a billionaire.
You got that right.
I don't know why it happened.
Oh, my God. If you could can it, it'd be out of this world.
I mean, I wouldn't have to work if I could figure out how this happens.
I don't know. I had the pleasure of meeting you one time, God rest him, before Dick Norman died, one morning at the Bob Evans out there at 60 and the I-75 overpass.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
As a matter of fact, I'm the guy that came in there and passed out some maroon caps to everybody.
Yeah, I remember that. Michael and I had breakfast out there that morning.
Right, you sure did. And, but anyway, you just absolutely amaze me how you drag some of these people out of the woodwork.
Well, thank you, sir.
I love it. I think it's great. But no on Rushmore, definitely.
Okay, no on Rushmore. Thank you, caller.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
St. Petersburg. Hi, St. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I want Reagan on that Rushmore. And furthermore, since you was on WPLP, you spoke about Reagan, you're speaking about him now. You have nothing to talk about.
What about all the dirty, filthy sex shows I did in between? Recently, about 10 miles out...
Well, if you're like most people, probably people are always asking you to do them a favor. Well, let me ask you to do yourself a favor for a change, and I mean a real nice favor. Let me ask you to go to Calb's Cove. Yeah, take yourself to Calb's Cove, and maybe a significant other, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it may be. Do everybody a favor. Take them to Calb's Cove for a fantastic dinner. Any day, anytime, Calb's Cove. And if you'd like to make it even extra special, how about this Friday night? You see, this Friday night is the 4th anniversary, 4th birthday, call it whatever you want, at Calb's Cove. It's going to be even more special than usual. Hors d'oeuvres, special drinks, special dinners, special people, too. A lot of the folks from here at WFLA will be there. I'll be there. Muffy will be there. Jeff Lawrence will be there. I think even some people from across the hall at FLZ will be there. And there's a piano bar at Calb's Cove. Great guy, Carl, on the piano. And he will be having somebody sit in with him a little bit later on in the evening. Lionel will be playing his guitar. That's right. You heard me correct. Lionel will be playing his guitar right there at Calb's Cove this Friday. It's going to be a fun time. Times are always fun at Calb's Cove, but even extra special fun. Reservations are definitely in order here, okay? So let me give you the telephone number, 393-3448. That's 393-3448. Calb's Cove, 13155 Gulf Boulevard in Madeira Beach. It's a birthday party. Hey, you can't go wrong, ever, at Calb's Cove. To the phones again we go. This is just incredible. I don't know why we're bothering... we should actually be taking calls during the breaks and during the news. This is a magic day, just a magic day. Tampa, you're on there at 970 WFLA. Where do you stand on this question, Tampa?
Yeah, Bob, I think Reagan should be up on Mount Rushmore.
Okay, that's 3-8 now. 3 yes, 8 no. Why is that?
Well, I'm serious. He ought to be up there. He ought to be up there right next to Mr. Richard Nixon. They both made us feel proud to be Americans.
Okay, we're just going to erase your yes. Like I told you, young punks, but whatever whatever turns you on. Holiday, your turn at 970 WFLA.
Hello?
Yes, Holiday.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I liked your idea about the trash heap. Virginia Beach, Virginia has
Mount Trashmore.
Mount Trashmore, and I think
right.
I've been on top of Mount Trashmore. I think that would be real appropriate.
Okay, so you would, in essence, be a no then for...
Yes.
Yes. You mean yes, you're a no, or no, you're a yes?
I'm sorry. Let me turn the radio down here. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
I'm finished.
Oh.
Okay, thank you very much. We've got your vote down there. That's 2 yes and 10 no. Unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, you would think that Ronald Reagan, with all that he did for us, would be more popular and that more people, like the young Republicans, would want his likeness up there on Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore. Holiday, you're on the air, 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Oh, hi, Holly.
I don't think he should be up there.
Why not?
Well, he isn't like George Washington or Abraham Lincoln, which Abraham Lincoln...
No, he's much older.
No, well, he's not a hero like the rest of them. You know what I mean?
He's not a hero like the rest of them?
Well, Abraham Lincoln was well known for freeing the slaves, right? And George Washington was the first president, and I just don't think he deserves it.
Didn't do anything that was noteworthy?
Well, I just don't think he's not like the rest of them. Maybe in 100 years from now, maybe they'll come up with something, but I don't think so.
Okay, well, I thank you, Holiday.
Sure thing.
Take care. 2 lines open. Both of them are in Pinellas. For some bizarre reason, you would think that, you'd think that's where the hotbed of support would be for Ronald Reagan. Wow. 461-9352 are the telephone numbers, or is the telephone number there. 461, it's actually are the telephone numbers because it's one of those rotating things, so it's... But 461-9352. 461-W... Oh, Mikey, I think I know what the problem is. Giving out the phone numbers too fast for the Reagan supporters. That's not fair. Okay, let me give out the telephone numbers in Pinellas County for the Reagan supporters. 4. Excuse me. Okay, here are the phone numbers. 4, 6, 1, 9, 3, 5, 2. God, don't you just love it when I taunt them that way? Madeira Beach. Hi, Madeira. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Well, I have to give Ronnie a vote yes. I'll get that up to 3 anyway.
Okay. Why do you want his likeness up there on Mount Rushmore?
Well, number one, just to make it as president, I think is enough to be immortalized in one of those mountains out there.
Well, and you would like to see Jimmy Carter there, I suppple, too.
Absolutely. There's, Crazy Horse Mountain, I think, is 40 times larger than Mount Rushmore. And there are several of the granite mountains out there that would have room for over 100 presidents at the size that they made these.
Well, we've only had 41. Or is that 42? 43.
Well, you got to be thinking a few hundred years ahead. But anyway, I think probably from not what he did do, but what maybe didn't happen, that we had skirmishes and problems.
We
didn't go to war. And so maybe just by maintaining the status quo elevates him somewhat. But my basic premise is I really believe that all presidents should be immortalized out there. We have a perfect places for it, and I think it would be a special thing to do.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Take care. That's 1 line open now. It's in Pinellas. 4! Nah, I'm not going to do that again. 461-9352. 461-WFLA. Tampa, hi, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob. You're fine. How am I? I'm still trying to figure out how to spell 4.
Okay.
I vote no.
No, why is that, sir?
Because when he bombed the Indian dictator, those people got mad, and they are now retaliating.
Okay.
I can tell that they're doing it.
Okay. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Take care there.
Don Richards standing by at the double...
I'm a Republican, and I'm calling to vote for Ronnie.
Okay, why's that, Lake?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I believe he's responsible for bringing the communists to the nuclear bargaining table.
Responsible? You mean, in other words, Ronald Reagan put Mikhail Gorbachev into office?
No, bring them to the bargaining table because of his, strong defense.
That apparently didn't have a great deal to do with it. It was Gorbachev.
Well, that could be too.
So Ronald Reagan didn't really have anything to do with that then?
Well, I guess I'm wrong again, Bob. I guess you're right again, and I'm wrong. But hey, nice talking with you.
Oh, okay, Lake.
First time caller. Hey, did you hear that the National Organization for Women changed their name to the NOL?
No, I didn't. Temple Terrace, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hi, Temple.
Hello, Mr. Lassiter.
Yeah, Temp.
Yes, he definitely should have his bust on Mount Rushmore.
Why is that, Temp?
It's because of the vastly heroic deed he did, which was in true Olympian proportion.
What's that, Temp?
He overcame the 20-year White House jinx, which was placed on that house in the 19th century. You see, every president was condemned to death every 20 years. The one elected every 20 years. Beginning in 1840. William Henry Harrison, 1860. Abraham Lincoln. 1880 was Garfield.
A 3-hour show. We're all aware of it.
Yeah, and he received what was intended by the curse to be a fatal wound 100 years after Garfield in 1981. However, he overcame this.
And therefore broke his face into a side of a mountain.
He broke the jinx, which means future presidents now will not have to be concerned about dying every 20 years.
Okay, well, you believe in curses and jinx and things like that?
Almost assuredly. I'm a devout Christian.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad we didn't put yours down. I didn't think that you were either old or sincere. Off we go now to, let's see, which one is this, Michael?
St. Petersburg. Hi there, Saint. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Good afternoon, Robert.
Good afternoon, Saint.
Yes, I'd have to definitely go with a thumbs down on the Ronald Reagan issue.
Why is that, sir?
Well, the negatives outweigh the positives, that's why.
What's that mean?
Well, he's done more harm for this country than he's done good.
Could you give us an example of the harm that he's done?
Well, the Iran-Contra scandal, let's see, the
Marines that got killed over in Lebanon, the Star Wars issue, the minimum wage issue, the list is endless, Bob.
Well, it sounds like it. Well, at least you had your notes with you, which is more than some other callers.
Well, I keep the notes in my head, Robert.
I thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. One line available, Pinellas County, the location. Unbelievable that it's still only 4 in favor, 13 opposed to. That line in Pinellas, 461-9352. Palmetto. Hi, Palmetto. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lassiter.
Good afternoon, Palmetto.
I have to say no.
No? Why is that?
Well, I don't think Mr. Reagan should be put on a pedestal and worshipped by the American people.
It's not a pedestal. It's the side of a mountain.
Okay, I don't think he should be put on as other people that would possibly be on that same mountain or near that mountain. And be given any credit for anything that, in a positive sense, that he's done. Now, if we can turn it around, and you want to list some of his stumblings and the ignorance of the American people to recognize it, that's another story.
Do you think maybe we might have a mountain of shame or something?
Hey, now we're talking about, there you go. Now, I will vote yes for that.
Okay,
for Mr. Reagan.
Maybe it could be like a Mississippi.
And also, possibly for the American people for being so ignorant and never questioning some of the blunders that he did throughout his administration. Yet on every other recent president or potential president, we're sitting in his back pocket. Or hers, depending on what year we're talking about. And I have another problem, Bob, I'm upset about.
What's that?
That's the space shuttle going up tomorrow. And I'm also upset about this young girl going to school there in Tampa. I want to know who's going to... if she excretes AIDS-infected bodily fluid...
Well, that has utterly nothing to do with what I'm talking about today.
I know, I apologize for that.
Well, you're forgiven. 990-9352 in Hillsborough.
line open, and, it's understandable in Hillsborough why there is a line available. 990 WFLA. We still are just astonished at the absolute... would you younger people who are calling in Pinellas County, be a little bit more thoughtful for the Reagan supporters? Instead of jumping right up to, dial the phone, count to 20 before you do. Give them a fair chance. They got a long way to go from, the toilet over to where the phone is.
Radio 970 WFLA.
Well, let me explain what's going on. Oh, hi, welcome back. Hour number 2, 11 minutes after the hour, 4 o'clock. It is a Thursday, April 27th, 1989. Anyway, yesterday, I was sitting at home preparing my gig and all that kind of stuff, and I was listening to a newscast, and there was this little item about a group of young Republicans who are trying to get Ronald Reagan's face put up on Mount Rushmore. Well, the first thing I did was stand there gagged and fell off the chair laughing. And then I started to think about it, and I said, whoa, this is pathetic, because we're talking here about a group of kids who are probably, in their 20s and 30s, a group of kids who have no sense of history whatsoever. They don't quite understand that just being in the White House is not putting you in the category of the likes of, George Washington, Tom Jefferson, Abe Lincoln, and Teddy Roosevelt. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of surprised that the, young Republicans didn't try to get Roosevelt's face taken off there because of all that New Deal stuff. But anyway, I went and I did my show in Frank's living room yesterday, and during the course of that show, I don't know how it happened, I got somebody on the air who starts, who gets me talking about Reagan. And, it was just like the old days, man. It was just like, I thought we had milked this poor old man for everything he was worth years ago. But here it was. It was passion. And he was screaming, and I was screaming, and I don't even know what the hell we were talking about, except that it had to do with Reagan. And I was, oh, God, I felt like, geez, why can't it be like this again? And then this morning, I said, well, what the hell? Let's go in, and we'll address this with reasonable seriousness and inquire of the people out there whether or not they want Ronnie's picture on Mount Rushmore. Now, we're not talking about sarcasm. I'm not, I'm not in the mood for that. We're not talking about satire because, to be honest with you guys normally don't do it very well. I'm asking honestly yes or no. And by the way, I'm being very short with people who I suspect of being sarcastic. And I'm asking honestly yes or no. Reagan's picture on Mount Rushmore, and I'm asking why. Now, the first hour, I thought I died and gone to heaven. I'm sitting here pinching me. I'm asking Michael to come in and kick the side of the chair to see if, take the pulse, see if I'm still really alive. Because it was just like it used to be. We started out with one sweetheart, somebody's granny. Ronald Reagan was the best president ever. And we said, okay, honey, tell us what he did. And she said, a lot of good things. I said, great, honey, tell us, some of the great things he did. I have them written down at home. I don't have them with me. That's the, for those of you who are relatively new to talk radio, that's the way it used to be. When I came to this town 3.5 years ago, we would have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those an hour. It made no difference what we were talking about. We would have those kinds of callers. Okay, there were... I'm not really telling the truth. The first couple of months were a little bit rough. We used to have like 1 and 2 calls an hour because there were the days of Ed Bush and Artanine. But as soon as we got those turkeys out of town and we got down to business, that's what we had, hour after hour, day after day after day after marvelous, marvelous day. Good, decent, sincere grandmothers and grandfathers. Some of them were a little short with it. I have to admit, some of them did things like, oh, dirty Rockefrats, go back to Russia. And, we used to have to dump that kind of language. You can't have that kind of gutter language on the air. And, but outside of that, we would deal with good, sincere people who slowly but surely kind of faded away into the background. We were afraid that they had died. But apparently they haven't. And slowly but surely, inch by inch, step by step. Reagan? Did you say Reagan? Slowly I turned,
step by step, over to the telephone I went, and I dialed in Pinellas.
461-9352.
In Hillsboro.
990-9352. Tampa, hi, Tampa. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello.
Hello.
I definitely do not want him on Mount Rushmore.
Why is that?
I have been there. And it is a scene of peace and quiet, tranquility and greatness. And he doesn't deserve it.
Why not?
Well, I think if you want to make a monument for him, they should make a housing project for all the people he got thrown out of jobs, for the poor, and maybe that way he could compensate for all the things that he pulled. That will come out in history. They are not present now. Just like we're having courts now, finding out the North did this and the other one did that.
Well, what did Ronald Reagan actually do to put people out of jobs?
Well, for one thing, he raised the living in the wrong places.
He raised the living in the wrong places.
He killed the farmers.
He killed the farmers, yeah.
He killed them flat out.
Killed them flat out.
Flat out. And this will show up in the history books. Right now, everybody is in a cloud of fur, and it takes a while for everything to crop back up. But history has always shown who did for the people and who didn't.
Okay. I thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, take care. You see, it doesn't matter if they're for him or against him. It's great. 990-9352 in Hillsboro, 990-WFLA. Clear Water. Hi, Clear. You're on the air at 970.
Hello, Bob.
Yes, Clear.
Okay, I think that Ron Reagan should be put there on Mount Rushmore.
Why is that, Clear?
I think so because he was a true patriot.
How's that?
And also he had style.
Well, how's that? What do you mean a true patriot?
He was a true patriot.
Are you
concerned...
suggesting that the other presidents before him were not?
No, sir. I don't.
Well, then why not put them up there too?
I see you put your words in my mouth there.
I'm not putting any words in your mouth, sir. I'm asking you questions.
Okay.
If I answered the question for you, then I would be putting words in your mouth.
I think Reagan was more of a patriot than the presidents before him.
How's that, sir? Why do you think that? What did he do?
That's the only explanation I'm going to give you, sir.
In other words, you mean you don't have an answer. It's just what you would like to believe. That's what I thought. God, I love it. I love it. I love it. So then they become real indignant when you ask them a question that they don't have an answer to. And then they say, and then they hang up. It's fantastic. New Port Richey. Hi, New. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi. By the way, for those of you keeping score, it's 5 in favor, 15 opposed.
I'm going to put him up there.
You want to put him on? Okay, why is that, sir?
I think he brought pride back to America.
Sir, you weren't proud of America prior to 1980?
No, they definitely were. As a matter of fact, the gentleman...
Well, wait a second, sir. I'm not clear. I mean, you were not proud of America prior to 1980?
Oh, of course. But I think
well, then
that
wait
on
a second,
a national
sir.
level...
Sir, if you were proud of America prior to 1980, how could he bring pride back? If pride never went away.
I think he strengthened the pride in America.
Well, sir, pride is pride. You know, it's kind of like love.
You can't have a strengthening?
Well, no, sir. It's kind of like love. You know, you love or you don't love. You have pride or you don't have pride. You know, you can't really have degrees of pride. You don't have degrees of love.
How about the analogy of like and love? You know, like, I like you, but I don't love you. Okay? You can like the amount of pride that was in the country, but you don't necessarily have to love it. I think he instilled a strengthened. Yeah, I'll stick with that. Strengthened the pride.
Well, what did he do to do that?
Well, I think he stood up to, let's say he stood up to
who?
Terrorism.
He stood up to terrorism?
Yeah.
Sir, there were no hostages when he took office. None.
Let's put it this way. Countries, third world countries and so on. That,
sir, are you talking about like Panama? Or Nicaragua?
Well, we could go to Libya.
Libya? What about it?
Well, I thought it was a good slap in the nose when he went after him.
Well, sir, maybe you did, but the Reagan administration went out of office saying that Libya was building a chemical plant.
Oh, you mean that was not a chemical plant that the West Germans were helping
I don't know what in the hell it was, sir. All I'm telling you is that the Reagan administration, went out of office crying that Libya was building a chemical plant.
And so
which third, exactly, sir, which third world nation is, trembling in its boots?
Who said anything about trembling in their boots, Bob?
You did, sir. You said all those third world nations were, had great respect for us now, and I pointed out 3 of them to you that don't have any respect.
There is, it's not a matter of them having respect. I think it's a matter of controlling terrorist action that stems from those particular countries.
There are more terrorist acts today than there were 10 years ago.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Bob.
There are more terrorist acts committed today than there were 10 years ago, sir.
Well, that's true. That is true. However, that does not mean that that under the Reagan administration, that to a certain degree that was stemmed, at least curtailed to some degree, by the actions that he invoked, such as the strike on Libya.
Right. All of you young talk show hosts or young would-be talk show hosts out there who want to know if when it's your turn 10, 15, 20 years from now, yes, they will be there. We're growing up a whole new crop of them. Well, this traffic report is going to be brought to you by Allstate. Leave it to the good hands people to insure your home, your car, your business, or your family. Gary McHenry, our very own bronze washboard of a traffic reporter. Up there in a dangerous rickety plane flying over the Tampa Bay area, not quite sure where he is because apparently Gary lost his compass, is our beloved heartthrob,
Sponsored reports.
Gary.
Also late on sponsored reports. People pay.
Hey, come on! Didn't you hear that? Didn't you hear that turkey I had on the air? You think I'm going to blow him off for a traffic report?
I'll give you this one, Bob. It was worth it. Traffic right now very heavy and.
To it, going right behind. Unbelievable. The Auric XL at your Auric Floor Care Center, 13230 Northdale Mabry. 2454 McMullen Booth Road in Clearwater. The Northdale Mabry address, of course, is in Tampa. Their telephone number is 264-1937. McMullen Booth Road in Clearwater, their telephone number is 726-0523. You must vacuum with it to believe it. And it is worth it, I promise you. Palm Harbor. Hi, Palm. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hi.
Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't going to ask you how you doing. I know you get there. I think Reagan shouldn't be put on Mount Rushmore.
Why not?
Because I think they ought to plow under the Washington Monument and put a honorarium to Reagan right there in the middle of the common out in Washington, D.C.
Uh-huh.
Because, first of all, he fired all the air traffic controllers that went on strike.
Yes, so I beg your pardon, sir. That was an illegal strike. He was well within his reason, right to do so.
Okay, they're still out working, are they?
It was an illegal strike, sir.
That's correct. And so he...
That's right, sir.
And the second thing, he went into Grenada. Okay, he took care of Grenada. He wiped them communists out and took the great big airstrip and saved our poor dear students that over there going to be doctors who weren't bright enough to be doctors in the United States. Correct?
Sir, I have no idea whether or not they were bright enough to be doctors in the U.S.
Yeah. Okay.
I have no idea about that at all. I find that really rather offensive on your part to say or suggest so.
Well, if you can't get into medical school in the United States, where are you going to go?
Well, sir, it may be because of the limited number of available spaces in medical school, sir.
You may
for you to come on the air. No, it's not a case of my may be correct, sir. Actually, I'm deeply offended by you and your call to suggest that people that you have no idea about are not capable of being doctors in the United States. I'm sorry. I don't need it. I really don't. One line available now in, where? Pinellas, 461-9352, 461-WFLA. I mean, with all of the possible reasons to take cheap shots at Ronald Reagan, to have to do so through a group of 400, 500, 600, 700 medical students that you know nothing about is really kind of asinine. Where now, Michael? Oh, of course. The beloved Don Richards, the second most loved newscaster in the entire world, standing by with a WFO. Well, if you look, he's been at it longer than you have, Don.
I know. I'm just wondering how long he can keep it up. We'll see.
Well, I'm sure that she's, Mrs. as well. Don Richards standing by at the WFLA news desk.
970.
Hey, I can't help it, man. We are polling the audience. Now, there's a big difference between doing a poll and polling the audience. We are simply inquiring. That's what we are doing, as to whether or not members of the audience want Ronald Reagan's likeness on Mount Rushmore. The reason we are polling the audience on this question, this vital question, is because there are some people that would like to do so. Some brain-damaged young Republicans who have obviously no idea whatsoever as to, anything that this country is about outside of their own little, Beamers and Gucci's and things of that nature. So they want to put Ronnie's face up there. And we thought we'd inquire as to whether or not you wanted his face up there, too. Tampa, hi, Tampa. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
I am a very big fan of Ronald Reagan. I don't feel he belongs up there.
Why not?
Why not? Very easily. The presidents that are up there had a far greater influence upon our country.
Teddy Roosevelt?
Teddy Roosevelt? Maybe not. But I didn't make the list of the people to go up there. But how about Abraham Lincoln and going through being president during the Civil War? George Washington, of course. And...
Well, I guess Roosevelt got up there because of the influence of the young bull moosers.
That could be. I don't know. I wasn't around then. Well, I do think that Ronald Reagan is one of the top presidents that we have had, probably within the top 2 or 3.
Well, I'd say certainly within, the top 40 or so.
Well, yes, but I say the top 2 or 3 this century. And that's just how I feel, but I don't think that
why would you say that? What has he done that would, make you say that?
Well, okay, being in the military, he has upgraded the military hardware, which I think...
With obsolete battleships? Planes that don't fly?
Well, now, wait a minute, Bob. He has taken the aircraft that we have been for many years, was all second and third hand aircraft.
Right,
in the
gave
Air
us the
National
B-1.
Guard, and updating them with the very latest technology.
Right, the B-1. God, if it only could, fly, it would be great.
It can fly. I know quite a few people that work on them, and it can fly.
Yes, there's a lot of people work on them. That's one of the problems. You're not supposed to be constantly working on a brand new plane.
They're not. They're not, believe me, Bob.
Well, you just told me that they were.
Yeah, you have to do scheduled maintenance.
Right, like, put the wings back on, that kind of stuff.
No, you don't take the wings off of the B-1.
I know, you don't have to. They fall off.
Nope. They've only lost 3.
3 out of 100. That's great.
Yes, this is true. Any new airplane and the quite a bit older aircraft that were developed in the 50s
I beg your pardon, sir. We didn't lose the first. We didn't lose 3 out of the first 100 747s, did we?
No, but they don't do the same mission.
They fly.
Yes, but they
fly. This is
a
a whole lot more than we can say about the B-1.
They fly at very relatively low airspeed versus the B-1 doing extreme maneuvers. I wish I could talk to you. Somebody just beating on my door, and my dogs are going crazy.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Bob.
No problem. That happens a lot with Reagan supporters.
Hey, there goes another B-1. Oh. I beg to differ with you, Bob.
Differ with me? I haven't said anything yet.
Our wings fall off all the time, and we keep flying.
Gary McHenry, one of the most dangerous traffic reporters, perhaps the most dangerous traffic reporter on the WFLA Airborne Traffic reporting staff, beyond the shadow of...
I just stick my arm out the wind and use that as a wing and bring her down.
I didn't see it at lunch today with Bushy.
I was the one buzzing him overhead. Did you see the sheriff's office helicopters chasing us?
You were the one they were shooting the slingshots at?
Did you know that the top of Air Force One is filthy?
No, I didn't.
They keep the sides that everybody sees all shined up and glossy, and the top is all yuck.
Are you serious?
It really is. The top of the wings.
Did you call in the News Radio 970 WFLA news tip line with that one?
I could have got $97, huh?
I bet you could.
Oh, man. I'll have to go home and disguise my voice and call it in later. Don't mention...
No, you don't. Nobody knows your voice around here. Better still, why don't you come in?
Oh, Bob, leave me alone. Southbound I-275 into the junction.
And there they were this morning, down there at the old Grand Prix. They had changed the name of the place to the Grand Prix Presidential Plane Wash. And they were waiting for... Where was George? Yes, they were ready for for their new service down there, the presidential, where you bring your plane in. And the first thing they do, of course, is vacuum up and down the aisle. Then they run it through the plane wash and, just get it spick and span clean, wipe down all the windows, inside and out. They apply 3 different waxes, do a complete undercarriage wash the top of it, too, and a complete armor all inside and out. So there they were, with his new service, the presidential, waiting for George. But where was George?
George is up someplace up north of Clearwater saying nice things about some congressman.
Oh, poor George. Well, they're going back to washing cars tomorrow. Probably even already this afternoon, the Grand Prix car wash. Get a Supreme, get a first class, get a super. Grand Prix car wash. 3 locations that serve you and George if he comes back. 1880 Gulf to Bay Boulevard, right across from the Clearwater High School. In Seminole, 10471 Park Boulevard, and the newest location, 3622 Gandy Boulevard, a half a block east of the crosstown in South Tampa. Clearwater, Clearwater Largo, straddling the line or something. Clearwater Largo, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, God damn you.
You have a problem there, Clearwater Largo?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd like to vote that no, his face not be put on there.
Why not?
Oh, there's a lot of reasons. We could start way back in his administration when he fired all the airline controllers.
Well, that's what he had to do, sir. It was an illegal strike.
Yeah, but he didn't do it because it was an illegal strike. He did it because solidarity was broken in Poland, and he wanted to show the rest of the world.
No, sir, he did it because it was an illegal strike. That's the only way he could have done so, because there are labor laws in this country, and had there not been some solid background there, they wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yes, but his purpose was to show the rest of the world that the governments run this and that the working man has no power. And there's another reason. He, they talk about his military buildup. What happened to his Lebanon policy when he sent all the Marines to Lebanon and they were killed in the hotel? I mean, when his policy failed, he pulled, and then he changes his mind when the men are dead and backs out. Because he was there just to show how tough he was, not that he had a good policy to follow. And then he deals with selling arms and guns and missiles to Iran. Part of the deal is that they remove the king of Iraqi from power. When the king of Iraqi finds out, he attacks our Navy and sinks our ship, am I correct, or blows it up. And he doesn't say anything. He blames Iran again.
After the king of Iraqi had been removed from power, he then blew up our ships?
Well, part of Ali Nouh's agreement with Iran was that they would remove the king of Iraqi from power. When the king of Iraqi found out, he attacked our ship in the Persian Gulf. And what did our president do? He blamed Iran.
Well, just go right ahead, sir. I've got to take care of something over here in the corner.
Well, that's part of it. I mean, you're supposed to carry a big stick and walk softly, but he carries a big stick and smacks people with it. And when they hit him back, he doesn't like it.
Okay, so you don't want to put.
I mean, there's more he's done
up there, or the king of Iraqi, I suppose.
Well, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
You don't want to put Reagan's face or the king of Iraqi up there.
Well, the king of Iraqi has nothing to do with it, but I mean, they're talking about what a great military leader this man is. All these conservatives calling up, and they forget about all his failed military policies, where he hit people with sticks and they decided to hit back. Well, that's what the saying is. You walk softly and carry a big stick. All right. Well, he carried a big stick but hit people with it. You see. And when he did that, they strike back. And that's not a strong military. I mean, if we had such a strong military, why did they sink our ship in the Persian Gulf? Why did they attack it? Why did they blow up our Marines in Lebanon? It's because he applied force without a good policy. And that's not good military leadership.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. King of Iraqi, okay. Don Richards standing by at the WFLA News Desk, possibly with some late-breaking word on the King of Iraqi. President Bush.
And just the silence or the chirping birds or the beautiful, beautiful live oak trees and the Spanish moss. There's the home, too. Yeah, you see, you can build your dream home on a majestic oak-covered home site at Woodridge. And it is a dream home. It's a custom-built home. It's not just a little box that somebody else designed and you move into. When you talk to the people at Woodridge, they're going to offer you maximum style and function in design for a very reasonable price. We're talking about custom, literally custom home sites, including the home site, from $120,000. They will offer a 10-year warranty on every home. They will design and build each home as if it was literally their own. Woodridge, continuing to modify the plans until that home that you want meets every requirement as to price, style, and design. Woodridge, on Livingston Avenue, about a half a mile north of County Line Road. Not more than 20, 25 minutes away from downtown Tampa. Unbelievable. It must be seen. Call the developer yourself. Get all the details. The telephone number, 960-2707. 960-2707, Woodridge. Back to the phones. It is Dunn Eden. Hi, Dunn. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Where do you stand on this great controversy?
Hello, Bob. I'm a first-time caller and easily intimidated.
Well, that's what we like.
I know it. First, I want to point out some of the great things that Reagan did in his 8 years. We have to admit that in a mere 8-year span, he was able to amass a budget deficit equal to all the other presidents together.
Am I to assume that you're opposed to putting his likeness on Mount Rushmore?
Yes.
Okay. Brings it up to 6 in favor, 20 opposed. Okay.
His military genius, so many others have spoke about his...
By the way, he didn't do that budget deficit all by himself. He had a great deal of help. You know.
Well, Congress was there, but Congress was also there for all the other presidents. And building up all this great military hardware that doesn't fly and doesn't float and doesn't run on ground had a lot to do with it.
Well, you're wrong there. You see, a lot of it that was designed to run on ground does float. And some of it that was designed to fly sink. It's all very complicated.
Yes, it is. It's a very complicated system he has.
Okay.
I have to admit, he did learn some lessons in his military. After having our troops killed in Lebanon, he was very easily able to fortify the White House. He put up some very good steel and concrete barricades, and they proved very effective. So he did learn by mistakes. No terrorists were able to crash through those barricades.
Okay, you got a good point. I thank you for it.
I have one more thing. I have an alternative.
I said I thank you for it. Largo, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Yes, Larg.
Yeah, Bob.
Yes, where do you stand on this?
Well, I'm voting no.
No, why is that, Largo?
Because of the national debt, for one, which was caused primarily by an uncontrolled military spending, the saving loan scandal, which we...
No, actually, the...
Caused by not having enough income.
Okay, it works out the same. You can't pay for what you bought. So the foreign policy in the Middle East is a shambles. The number of people of questionable character in his administration, which he definitely allowed that. A lot of the other stuff he doesn't do.
Come, sir. I don't think that Ronald Reagan went out and solicited people of questionable character. Now, you know better than that. Come on.
I didn't say he did. I said he allowed them to be there. He allowed them to be there, and he supported them.
Sir, I think he suggested that he went out of his way to get them, but that's neither here nor there. 1 more hour yet to go. Don't, please, whatever you do, venture very far.
Kids Radio 970 WFLA.
Hi there, fun seekers. Welcome back, third and final hour for this Thursday edition of the Lassiter, for April 27th, 1989. If, I don't want to say anything so the people on the phones can hear. If you used to listen to talk radio years ago, today is a throwback. I mean, this is great. Win, lose, or draw. These are fantastic calls. I don't think we've had less than a 3-star call today. Most of them have been 15 and 20s, and that's on a scale of 5. 990-9352 is the number in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. If you'll recall, we were kind of polling the audience, not taking a poll, but polling the audience as to whether or not they wish to go along with the Young Republicans and put Ronald Reagan's likeness on Mount Rushmore. Tampa, hi Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, Bob, I'd like to register a yes vote for
Okay, why's that?
Simply on the basis of his popularity.
On the basis of his popularity.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Mickey Mouse is pretty popular, too.
Well, the common denominator of the presidents who are currently on Mount Rushmore is their popularity. Of course, Washington, father of our country, and he's popular. Thomas Jefferson, one of the framers of the federal system of government, and he's popular. Lincoln, the great emancipator, and he's popular. Teddy Roosevelt, the man has nothing going for him whatsoever except his popularity.
Okay,
all right?
Hold your throat. You're not sincere. I want people to
I
sincere.
am extremely sincere about it. The man was in office for 8 years, and he has been and will continue to be extremely popular. I'm sorry I can't get into substantive issues with you. Reagan will not be remembered for substantive issues, but he will be remembered for his popularity. And I think that if he's got enough of a following that a sincere, loyal group of Americans want to put his likeness on Mount Rushmore, they have my blessing. Go for it. And I don't remember if you mentioned whether or not this was to be publicly or privately funded, but for God's sakes, man, if they want to put their own money up to do this, I'm all in favor of it. I think it's great.
Thank you very much. His vote doesn't really count. It remains 6 in favor of it and 5, 10, 15, 21 opposed. Let's go to St. Petersburg. Saint, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
You mean I'm on the air?
Well, that's normally, you know, what would be meant when we say things like, you know, St. Petersburg, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
I see. Well, I've been trying to listen to you for the last hour, and I have never heard somebody trying to turn around people's words. When somebody makes a statement, you turn it around like the airplanes weren't flying.
Well, what exactly do you mean? Could you give us an example?
3% of 3 out of 100 is 3%. Mm-hmm. That is terrific when you talk about the B-1 bomber.
No, sir, it's not terrific when you're talking about airplanes coming down.
It is terrific when you're talking about military planes.
Sir, no, it's not.
You try to tell that one man.
Sir, it might be terrific in battle, but it is not terrific in just test flight situations.
Any new plane.
The 747.
Any new plane has a certain amount of defects. As a matter of fact, if you remember...
Yes, sir, but there's a difference between defects and crashes.
You're trying to make it look like that is a crashing plane.
Well, sir,
it's
that's
not. The F-16. The F-16 is a crasher also.
The B-1 bomber has been around now for a couple of years, and for the majority of the time it's been around, it's been grounded. So it's not just 3% of them have crashed. It's 3% of them have crashed when they let them fly.
Well, I've been listening so that I could find out why you hate Ronald Reagan so much, and I haven't found one valid reason come out of you.
Sir, that's because I didn't say I hated Ronald Reagan.
Well, you certainly display that you do.
I'm simply taking a poll, sir, as to whether or not people want Ronald Reagan's likeness on Mount Rushmore.
You know about polls. You know the story about polls, don't you?
Careful, sir. My real name is Gwodowski.
Yeah, well, okay. You understand what I'm talking about, polls and statistics.
Oh, really, sir? Are you taking some cheap shots at the Polish people?
No, what I started to say to your director there was that I'm so sick of listening to your program today that I just had to call. My fingers couldn't help, and I had to make the dial.
I know, sir. That's an effect I have on people like you.
I know it. And I'm just saying that FLA was such a good station. Everybody that I know watched it. It was pro and con.
I'll bet all of your people watched it, sir.
Pardon?
I'll bet all of your friends watched it.
With you, since you've been in there, all you do is go one direction. There is no pro and con. There is no fairness.
That's right. None.
People in this area are well-educated people. Most of them are retirees.
Sir?
They've been through the mill. They've been through battles that you never even dreamed of.
Sir? The state of Florida has one of the lowest rates of higher education in the entire country.
When you talk about the St. Petersburg and Tampa area, where you have the retirees around MacDill and so forth, and you try to talk airplanes, brother, you're way out of your class.
Sir, there aren't too many retirees around MacDill. That's not terribly far from where I live.
They're not.
It's a very young neighborhood.
Well, then all other records that are posted.
St. Petersburg, where you're calling from, now there is an area that has a great number of retirees. Did you know Wilbur personally?
Oh, right?
Yes.
Well, right, he's about ready to get thrown out, and I suppose that's burning the heck out of you. He's getting thrown out. He's the guy that he invited Ortega down there to the point that our people in the White House had to defy Congress like all other presidents.
Sir, I'm a Republican.
Pardon?
I'm a Republican. I couldn't care less about Jim Wright. As a matter of fact, I've mocked and humiliated, mocked and ridiculed the man, rather.
The fact that you're a Republican, the statement that you make has no validity because you're not to be believed. In anything you've said in the past 6 months or a year that I've tried to listen to you.
Sir, what lies have I told you?
Oh, I can't enumerate.
I know. You don't have your notes.
I can't. That's right. I don't take notes. I'm not talking about...
What, you can't write either?
Pardon?
You can't write either?
Well, there goes your tactics. It's been a fair conversation momentarily.
Well, that's
but
fair.
There goes the conversation because of Bob Lassiter's tactics.
Sometimes it borders on poor when you're talking.
Write. No, I can't write. Listen, Bob, if you'd shape up, maybe you could pass some of the coming tests that you're going to have to go through with your station.
What kind of tests?
You watch and see what kind of tests.
Well, why don't you tell me what kind of tests?
You're probably being enumerated. The pros and cons on your program are being studied with much skepticism by your superiors.
I just signed a new contract literally within the last week and a half.
Any contract that you sign can be broken. You know that.
Well, that's true,
You can be subjected to cleaning the spittoons down there.
No, sir, that I cannot.
Well, I've had enough, and nothing sensible has come out of you.
By the way, sir, we don't have spittoons around here. Perhaps you do at your house, but not here.
Nothing sensible has come out of you.
Nothing sensible, sir?
I just wish you nothing but bad luck in your stay here in this area.
No, sir, I'm sure that you do. That's because, you're just kind of a mean old goat.
Can't stand you. If there's a stinking cat in the living room, you can't stand it. You got to either get out or throw the cat out.
And sir, why do you listen every day, sir?
I don't listen every day. I listen periodically.
Fibber. Another one down. Excuse me, Gary. I have to make a mark here on the console.
There's something going on today, Bob.
There is. Standing by with a WFLA traffic report, your good buddy and mine, Gary McHenry, who really is very popular with girls.
Fibber. Your good buddy.
Well, aren't you my good buddy?
Well, I thought I was your good buddy.
Sure, we're good buddies, Gar. Hey.
Then how come when I called you the other night, it took 20 minutes and you kept yelling at Muppy to say that you weren't at home? I heard you. 20 stinking minutes. 20 minutes.
There's something wrong with the line, Gar. Just to the weather.
Traffic on the weather? Want the weather again? Traffic on the Courtney Campbell Causeway.
Well, maybe the stuffed artichokes. Now, we're talking about artichoke hearts filled with shrimp scampi and escargot and scallops and baked with Dijon garlic butter. And the oysters in the rough. They're topped with spinach, hollandaise, bacon, broiled to perfection. I'd probably get a dozen of those. Now, after that, when it really came time to get down to serious eating, I would recommend the Caesar salad. The reason I would recommend the Caesar salad is because I never ate Caesar salad. I didn't like Caesar salad until I ate at Calb's Cove, and they put a bowl of it in front of me, and I was trying to be polite, and I said, well, yes, I'll take a little bit of this. I'll try a little bit of it, thinking that I'd probably get up, and I'm trying to get rid of it pretty quick. And it turned me into a Caesar salad lover. I might recommend either the chicken supreme, if you're trying to be just a little bit cautious there with the calories. Besides, I love boneless breast of chicken sautéed with crab meat and topped with mushroom sauce. Oh, or maybe the Captain Harry. Okay, fresh grouper, shrimp, scallops sautéed in garlic with lots of fresh mushrooms again, and then for sure, absolutely for sure, there would be a flambé dessert. Strawberries roaming off. Maybe the blueberries Foster if they're in season. Calb's Cove. You can do no better in the Bay Area. You may not be able to do any better in the entire nation for the intimacy of the tableside service, the professional, personalized service without ever being stuffy. Candlelight dining right there by the dockside. And this coming Friday, tomorrow, the 4th anniversary at Calb's Cove. Most everybody from FLA will be there if that's of, any great significance to you, because we know good dining and we know good times, and even Lionel will be stopping by to play his guitar in the in the piano bar with Carl. But don't let that stop you. He won't be there right away, and besides, if you complain loud enough, they'll probably throw him out. And that can get rid of him and pass it to Pat or somebody else over there, and it won't be that much of a problem. Tampa, hi, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Tampa, where do you stand on this great Mount Rushmore issue?
Well, I don't think they should put Ronald on the Mount, Bob.
Why not?
I think it should be reserved for the fathers of our country and people who really contributed to the development of our country.
Well, he was around in the beginning, wasn't he?
He was close. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt kind of slid in there sideways because he established the national park system, and that's how I guess he got his head on there.
Yeah, I guess so.
But Reagan, no, even though I voted for the guy, I don't think his head should be on there. Now, I do think it'd be interesting if Dukakis had won and we were discussing this, because right underneath his head, they could say actual size.
Uh-huh.
But, anyway, that's my only comment, Bob.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. This is absolutely pathetic. I mean, we are talking only about 6 Reagan people against 22. 22 no's, 6 legitimate yeses. I mean, there were 2 or 3 others that tried to be clever, but, come on. I'm not into cleverness at all on this program. McDill, you're on there at 970 WFLA.
Good evening, Bob. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. I have to say no, and no.
Well, why's that?
I think that he has been the biggest farce that I've ever seen as a president. I mean, I was around, luckily, ever since Kennedy. That isn't too far, but the worst thing is that he could try to make you believe something when a whole different thing was going on. The economy went to hell in a handbasket. The foreign policy went bad. The domestic policy went bad.
Well, let's be honest about this economy thing here. It didn't go to hell in a handbasket for everyone.
Okay, for everyone that doesn't make over $100,000 a year.
Well, maybe 50.
Okay, 50. Well, I'm well below that part.
Most people are.
And I remember when he came in, he said that he was going to stop all the problems, the terrorists and all these things, and everybody got their guns and ran up beside him. And we still have people that are being held hostage. And this man, he had a great line, but there was no backing up.
Well, I mean, come on, what do you want? You want action? Jeez, I mean, you want the guy to go do something too?
And 3% of an aircraft, 3% of them falling out of the air, that's scary.
Well, yes, it would tend to be, except, if you're a blowhard sitting at home on your government pension talking to Lassiter on the radio and not having to fly any of these things.
Or you'd be in a situation you're having to depend upon them.
Yeah, for those people, it's real scary. But like I said, for the blowhards, what the hell, 3% here, 3% there.
Well, that man didn't know the difference between Wilbur Wright and Jim Wright, so we have a definite problem with him as well.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day, Bob.
990-9352 in Hillsborough. There is one line open. Unbelievably, there are 2 lines open in Pinellas. 461-9352, 461-WFLA. Run over there to the kitchen sink there, get those teeth out, put them in, call up and support Ronnie to be on the side of Mount Rushmore. Don Richards standing by with the WFLA News Brief. Don?
President Bush praised.
If I knew the answer, if I knew the magic button, I'd push it. Because this much I do know, when you finally get around to giving up smoking, you're going to sooner or later, but when you finally get around to it, you're going to wonder why you didn't sooner. There are going to be so many things that will improve in your life. And I mean that sincerely. I wouldn't put you on. Dr. Robert Sobel. You've heard me say it before. You're going to hear me say it again. Quit for life. You've heard me say it before. You're going to hear me say it again. The rest is up to you. All you've got to do is get in touch with Dr. Sobel. Make up your mind to finally do it. And Dr. Sobel will give you the keys to success. The keys to make you into a non-smoker in 2 one-hour sessions spaced 1 week apart for a total cost of $39.50. Dr. Robert Sobel. 787-5530. 787-5530. Maybe this weekend? Maybe Monday? Tampa, hi, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yes.
I'd like to comment on this Mount Rushmore business with Reagan's image.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous and a little bit frightening in a way.
Well, why?
Because the one thing I've seen that Reagan has done in his administration, he has given us an image. And he's got this fatherly image that, you know, if anything goes wrong, it's like, whoops, oh, my heavens. You know, that happened in my administration. He has sold the public on his naivety, his innocence, et cetera, et cetera. People truly, truly believe that if anything goes wrong, he has no idea or had no idea what went on. He's like almost a third party to the running of the government. And Bush is following suit. I mean, we even followed in the papers how people, these public relations people created this image for Bush. And I think people are being sold a bill of sale. I really do. That's my opinion. I don't trust the guy. I've never trusted the guy.
Jeez, and you would let that keep him off the mountain?
Pardon?
You would let those minor little things keep him off the mountain?
Whoops. Yes, I do, and I resent it. It's an insult to my intelligence. It really is. And I think to America's intelligence, don't you think?
No, I don't think. I thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Bye-bye.
990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352. In Pinellas, it's really looking bad. It's 5, 10, 15, 24 against, and only 6 in favor. Oh, poor Ronnie. He's probably crying just as you and I speak now out in his den there. He and Nancy holding tears rolling down his cheeks because all of his good buddies and didn't say that he should be on the mountainside. I mean, you know no one else is going to do the show. You know that this is just too hot for any other host in this market to touch. Tampa, hi Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Let's make it 25.
Well, why don't you want his image up there?
Well, let's go with two things. He's supposed to be the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, right?
Well, not anymore. He used to be, yeah.
Well, he was
right
when he was in office.
Retired now.
Okay. Anybody that's commander-in-chief when they're in office should know what is happening with the lieutenant colonel, that is his aide, in the Iran-Contra affair in his own backyard, which he has publicly denied knowing anything about. So that proves to me that he wasn't a very good commander-in-chief of the armed forces if he doesn't know what's happening right in Washington.
Okay.
Also, the head of the Jewish community in this country asked him at the time he went to Germany not to visit the graves of the SS officers, German officers. And he showed no compassion for these people by doing exactly that. I think that is total inconsideration for a group of people that was put through terrible sufferings during the Second World War.
Okay. Well, I thank you much.
Okay.
All right, take care. I don't understand. Aren't there any of you out there willing to, forgive and forget minor little things like, I don't know, Bitburg and Lebanon and hostages and debt and things like that? Aren't there any of you out there willing to overlook these minor problems to put Ronnie's face up there on Mount Rushmore like the young Republicans want to do? Whoa! You guys certainly do hold a grudge. St. Petersburg, you're on the air at 970
Bob,
WFLA.
get the jackhammers out, buddy.
What, sir?
Get the jackhammers out. I'm ready to put them up there.
Oh, why's that?
He made me rich.
He made you rich?
Yeah.
How's that, sir?
You remember back when he took office and the stock market was like at, 650, 700, and then, we kind of knew he was going to get elected, and the market started creeping up. And then he got elected, and what did he do? It went to 1,200?
I could be wrong, sir, but I think that back in around 1980, the stock market was a little closer to 1,000.
No, not when he took office.
And it kind of just drifted down for 2 years.
No, Bob, no, you better go check your facts.
Until it got into the 700 area.
No.
Then in 1982, I guess it was, maybe about August
82, and when,
Yeah, when it bottomed out.
You're right. And when did he take office, Bob?
1981 early.
81 early.
Yes, January 21st, 1981.
Yeah.
Almost, like a year and 3
So, like,
quarters.
right after he took office, we seen the immediate uprising.
No, we didn't. As a matter of fact, in the early 1980s, we were talking in terms of
My
the worst
portfolio did,
recession.
Bob.
We were talking in terms of the worst recession since 1929.
Well, we had to take care of Carter's mess. Anyway, I got my tools out, and I'm ready to go start carving.
Where did you buy that fruit down?
Okay.
So I would like to invite all the other people that invested.
I'll bet you work a lot with tools, since obviously you know nothing about the stock market. I'm assuming you don't have any stock. You're probably a carpenter. Pinellas Park, you're on there at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob, this is another no.
Another no? Why is that, sir?
Well, I look at the 4 people who are up on Rushmore as being men who furthered democracy. I mean, I don't know that much about Teddy Roosevelt and what he did to further democracy. The other 3, I definitely think have a major place in the role our country has taken, and I just don't think Reagan did enough to do it. I mean, he did do some good things. I'll readily admit that. I'm not saying he was a horrible president. He did do some good things. He did.
What did he do good?
Well, I think his foreign policy ended up getting better. I think his actions against Gaddafi did help.
His foreign policy. What in particular did you like about his foreign policy?
Well, I like at the end, let me say, when he got closer to Russia, I don't personally think that we need to talk about it as he did at the beginning as the evil empire. I mean, I disagreed with that. I like this, I don't see any reason why we have to have a Cold War. There's really no reason for it. We don't have to be, bed buddies with them, but we can be nice, at least, and try to work, okay? I think his actions against Gaddafi certainly did help. I don't know whether they stopped any terrorism. I think, attacking the Libyan plants and everything, that helped a lot. But I just end up thinking there are just too many things.
Attacking the Libyan plants? Which Libyan plants did he attack?
When they bombed the coast.
He didn't attack any Libyan plants. They bombed the French embassy.
They bombed the Libyan coast, almost killed Gaddafi, killed a member of his family, I believe.
Yeah, that's not any Libyan plant.
I thought that was a power plant they attacked. In that raid, it was attacked a power plant.
I don't think that Gaddafi keeps his kids at a power plant, do you?
No. I'm not saying that. I think they got a power plant. The point is, whatever they hit, okay, I think that helped to deter some of the terrorism.
It's funny, they said it didn't. They said that it was worse than ever a year later.
Well, we haven't seen you haven't heard that much about Muammar Gaddafi.
Sir, the Reagan administration said it didn't do any good, that he was worse than ever a year later.
Okay, I'll take that. I mean, I'm just, I don't know enough about what happened with that. You may be correct, okay? I just think, like you said, there are a lot of little things which he has done, which to me just don't...
Whether or not he really did them.
No, I mean, I'm just talking, like the deficit problem.
Yeah, what about it?
I think that got out of hand and not enough was done to stop it when it could have been done. Like somebody already said earlier about helping the rich and didn't really help the poor like he could have. That kind of thing. One thing that I didn't like was the Beirut hostages. I think we could have done a lot more.
Like what?
To help that. Possibly gotten involved in some negotiations a lot earlier.
Negotiations with who?
Found out who actually was holding these people.
Found out who was holding them. Well, you say that's impossible to do. You see, that's one of the problems with Ronald Reagan. He promised to do impossible things. But that's okay. That's no problem. I thank you very much for your vote. I was getting to you, 551. The late Don Richards with his WFLA news brief.
President Bush ends a 2-day Florida visit with a speech in Palm Harbor. Earthquake hits Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee.
89 to be precise about it. It's on Livingston Avenue, a half a mile north of County Line Road. An area that is gorgeous and a community that's manageable, where you can actually deal direct with a developer. Actually put your dream house together. Move the wall here, move the wall over there. You don't have to just accept what they offer. Not at Woodridge. They want to sell you a dream, your dream. Woodridge. Let me give you the telephone number. 960-2707. 960-2707. Okay, Tampa. Hi there, Tampa. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Good afternoon, Bob.
Good afternoon, Tampa.
Great. I feel that President Reagan should have a whole mountain to himself for what he's done to this country, to the people, to the worlds, the free worlds. From the moment he stepped into office and our hostages in Iran were released, this country will never never be able to repay Reagan for all that he has done for us.
Actually,
we are forever in debt.
Sir, the hostages were released before he took office.
They were released just as he was taking office because they knew damn well they didn't want to mess with him.
No, sorry, sir. Sorry. And besides, are these the same people who then immediately started taking hostages and who didn't deal with Reagan for 8 years? Are these the same Iranians who Reagan went out of office with hostages being held by?
You're speaking of the people in Lebanon. You're not speaking of a country like Iran
I'm sorry, sir, because Ronald Reagan said that he was dealing with the Iranians to get those hostages released. He believed the Iranians held them.
Well, you're speaking of two different situations and two different circumstances.
No, sir, they're only 8 or 9 hostages.
Okay, well, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about everything he has done.
It's very inconvenient, isn't it?
Let's talk about everything he's done for this country. We will never be able to.
For example?
The morale, the better living standards for most of these people.
Are you talking, sir, about a country where people say, I'm not going to buy anything made in America because America makes crap?
That's the way it has been for a long time. There are still many people who are like that. You're not going to change everybody.
Oh, I see.
But there were a number of people who have changed their ways. For instance,
like Jesse Jackson and most of those Democrats who buy American. I know, sir. I appreciate that. But guys like, Oliver North who drives foreign cars, that kind of stuff, I appreciate that, sir. It's very, very inconvenient to talk about it. Hey, this has been fantastic. I just don't understand why you guys aren't, behind the press more than you are. But, hey, what can I say? Tomorrow's another day, huh?